1, 2, 3.
Okay, we're rolling.
Testing 1, 2, 3. All right. Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Candace Matthews. I am the National Minister of Politics for the New Black Panther Nation, and I'm also a national renowned human civil rights activist and advocate. We are here with this mother. This mother has 2 children that was on this bus here at Sealy ISD that sits behind us. This video was very hard to watch, and it was very disturbing for us to see these children being punished and treated the way that they were treated on that bus on last Thursday. And let's be clear, last Thursday was a heat index advisory. It was 103 degrees. So you can imagine what this bus was with no air conditioning and these children that were forced to be on the bus with windows up. In fact, the punishment went even further, where the bus driver decided that what she wanted to do was stop the bus completely on a 6-minute route where you're supposed to take these children home. I have direct evidence here. Here is the actual bus route and the actual time that the children, when they left the school, which was at 3:34 p.m., they didn't get home until 4:06, 31 minutes that these children suffered in direct heat. These children, when you look at the video that has been shared with you, came in drenched and sweating. This mother's children, both of them have 2 health conditions. One of them have a health condition. If they are overheated, then they will have seizures. Then we have another child that has a health condition of asthma. So what other children that was on that bus that may have possible health conditions? What would make somebody stoop that low to want to punish children? Now let's be clear. I'm a mother. All of us are mother and fathers. We have kids. I have kids that ride the bus. My kids go to school in Klein ISD, even though I get on their behind, but they have air conditioning on the buses. My kids are not being subject to that type of punishment. That is inhumane. That's just like we have people right now that go to jail if you leave your children in a car with no air conditioning with the windows up. This bus driver needs to be held accountable. This bus driver needs to go to jail. This bus driver do not need to be driving nobody's children nowhere. It was brought to my attention that this bus driver, this is not the only time that she has done some egregious activities. And this is unacceptable, and we are not going to stand by and let, I don't care what color the child is. A child is a child. They don't deserve to be treated that way. We do not send our kids to school to be treated with inhumane conditions. We do not send our children to school to ride a doggone bus with no air conditioning. What they doing with the tax dollars? You're supposed to have air conditioning on the bus in the heat. Then when it's cold, you're supposed to have heat. So I'm not understanding what the issue is. Then, I got to bring this out. The superintendent, Mr. Brian Hallmark. This was his response to the press conference announcement. This was his response. And what I found with this response, it was lackluster. It was unacceptable. It was disheartening. And it had no regard to the safety of our kids. What it had regard about is for them being exposed for these egregious activities that they've been doing with our children. And I got one thing to say to this superintendent. You got more to worry about than me coming up here doing a press conference. You better worry about me getting hold to the Department of Education with you violating these children's civil rights with that bus activity. You better worry about if I don't come to this board meeting here and demand for your resignation. You better worry about not just me putting you on the news. You better worry about what other processes that's going to come with it. And that is unacceptable. One thing that we don't play about in Texas, we don't play about our kids. And that's what we're not going to do. So for you to be getting that salary that you're making, Mr. Superintendent, and for you to make this old piss poor remark, because the families wanted to know what measures are you putting in place? What investigations are you going to put in place? They don't want to hear nothing about that we're supposed to be coming to the school and they're going to try to protect the kids in school. We're not coming here to disrupt the educational process. We're coming here to disrupt what you all have not been doing. We're coming here to hold you accountable, because accountability breeds responsibility. And it's their responsibility to take care of our children in their custody when they are here. Like I said again, we don't send our kids to school to be in inhumane conditions. You do that to a damn dog, it's going to be a problem. So why is it not a problem when you do it to our kids? So I would like to bring Mom up, Miss Khasha Smith, and let her tell her accounts of what has happened. And then we'll save the questions until after the presser. Okay? Miss Khasha?
Hi, my name is Khasha, and I am Bryson Siani's parent. I will say that receiving phone calls from my children saying that they can't breathe, they're unable to get home, is a problem for me. Now, they're accusing my son of disrupting, I guess, the route because he wanted to sit in front of the bus with his sister. She told him no. There were plenty of seats available. He questioned it in a nice way. He asked the reason why. She says, no, go back to the back of the bus. This is not the 1900s. Still don't understand why he can't sit in the front. And my other question is, because it's her policy, why are the windows rolled up? Why can't the windows be rolled down? I have no answer yet. It's a personal policy that Anna created. So I'm not understanding why. There have been many parents complaining on this one supervisor, this one bus driver. We complain to the supervisor, nothing gets done. From my understanding, every time we complain to her supervisor, it goes into one ear, out the next, because that's her boyfriend. So anytime we tell the supervisor of transportation, we're getting nowhere, because that's the bus driver is her girlfriend. So I'm not understanding why we can't get any justice. From my knowledge, this has been going on for about 4 years since we've moved into this community. And every time I approach her, I can say, hey, good morning, how are you? She gives me a snooty attitude. One time I approached her about another issue. Her response is, well, I've been doing this for 25 years, and this is the way I do it. So I refuse to allow a person to continue to be a bus driver in this community when you're risking our children. Now, they have put in a place where she doesn't ride this route, which is great. Kudos. However, is she going to do this to the next set of kids that she receives? This is where I say no. I am putting myself out there, and I am standing with my children and other parents who do not have the courage because they're scared of retaliation. I am here because I'm not going to be afraid, and I do not want this to continue to happen in this community. I received an email last week indicating that they want to raise the school tax, but the transportation was at the bottom of the list. So you have $500,000 homes that are being in this community, but you cannot make sure our kids are safe. The buck stops here and
That's
now.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, my name is Sledge. I represent the community, the chair of Morehouse Alumni Association in Houston chapter. I just want to brief you guys on the biological aspects from what heat can do to a child. It was a heat advisory that day. So if it's, let's say it's 93 degrees outside, and you roll the windows up, the bus can heat up to 123 degrees really quickly. The bus was rolled up for about 20 to 30 minutes from my understanding. Now, we as humans we have a way to regulate our body. Kids, they're not able to regulate their body up until a certain age. They're not matured enough. So if the body is supposed to be at 98.6 degrees, a child that's an adolescent, if you leave them for about 20 minutes in the heat, they can have heat exhaustion, heat stroke, they can go into seizures, and that can last for up to 24 to 48 hours to recover from it. So these are the conditions that we're leaving our children in, that the bus driver put these children in. That's supposed to be a responsible adult. That is unacceptable. That's child endangerment, child abuse. That right there can have legal ramifications. She can face jail time for this because she consciously did it. She thought about it and just let those kids suffer, even though they were gasping for air, asking for the windows to be rolled down, or asking for some AC. Unacceptable. So that's what we're here for, to be the voice for those kids. At that age, they cannot regulate. The body is regulated by something that's called the hypothalamus. The hypothalamus is not developed fully in adolescence. So that allows your body to sweat and cool yourself down in heat, or warms you up and makes you shiver in cold. That's the conditions that we put these children in. That is child endangerment, and that is totally unacceptable.
Eugene?
Great afternoon, great people. Even though we're here on such a gloomy day, on such egregious actions, I would like to start by saying our children are our most prized possession. No matter what race you are, no matter what creed you are, no matter who you choose to love, everyone loves their children. The children are tomorrow's promise. With that being said, I've heard my colleagues speak about the heat index. I've heard my colleagues speak about this egregious single-person bus policy that this district is letting to be implemented. My question is, as we sit here, Texas is still in a surplus. So I'm going to talk to these state representatives, like State Representative Kidsman. I have a question for you. We know right now there's an epidemic there where our jails, our prisons don't have AC. And as much as that may pain some people may say, well, those people made a mistake. What are our children's mistake for you to make sure that we don't have ACs on not only this school district's bus, but every school district's bus? We must understand that we have to stand in the gap against these bigoted practices that these school districts apply. Where are the tax dollars going? And for the superintendent to insinuate, to gaslight that our presence here is going to stoke some kind of violence, some kind of uprising, that is the reason why people like myself and Dr. Matthews and Dr. Sledge will not go quietly into that good night. We will continue to fight, because we're not here to cause trouble, but we're here to make good trouble, because our children deserve better. And we will not tire until they get better. We'll be at the school board meetings. We will make sure your life is uncomfortable, just as uncomfortable as you made those children's ride on the way from school. A 6-minute ride turned into a full episode of Full House. For those that don't understand, that's a children's show modeled behind family, and that's 30 minutes. I'm glad for today's sake that it's apropos that it's raining, because we're going to rain on this egregious parade. Thank you.
I am Yvette Arriaga. I am your Miss Teen Sealy Latina and a child advocate. And I believe our children are our future. And my goal is to provide a voice for every child and to break the cycle of abuse. And I believe that if this doesn't stop, then, it's going to happen to another kid. And we need to break that cycle. Thank you.
All right. Now, do we have any questions?
I've got some feedback from somebody in the comments. Stephanie Desmond says, and you're putting these kids in more danger and bringing all this unwanted attention to the school when these kids are trying to learn. This is extremely unprofessional and a joke at this point. So what do you have to say to somebody like Stephanie Desmond?
Tell her that superintendent to pay us some more money, because that she made that comment, that was an elementary comment, honey. Tell her to step her game up and give us a dissertation. Thank you.
So just to recap, which school again were they coming from? This bus was coming from?
This was the middle school here at Sealy. Sealy Middle School, correct? Yes. Sealy Middle School.
So, if you want to explain it too, just so the situation was that your son asked to move up to a seat at the front, and that's why the bus driver decided to stop. Is that correct?
That was here at the school. That was the first incident. She either called the principal, let him know that he's acting out, but he's asking the question, why can't he sit with his sister in the front? So there was a phone call made, and that was here at this school. Then the other incident happened where the kids were stopped on a dirt road. She used an alternative route, and which caused them delay. And they rolled the windows down because she was going 3 miles an hour or so. I asked the supervisor why. She said that he said that the reason why she was going so slow is she didn't want to mess up the bus.
That's a joke.
Mm-hmm.
So since that incident on Thursday, you reached out to the district and gotten a response from them at all? What, if anything?
Yeah, the parents did.
So,
multiple parents have done so. They did, which baffles me is that all the complaints, it was not, no communication was sent out to the parents regarding this issue, alerting them that they are aware of this information. But within less than 10 hours, when they got a hold of the flyer that we were going to be here, they responded immediately.
So you mentioned, and I just want to clarify, so the bus driver, is she no longer on that route, or is she still?
She's no longer on this route, but she's somewhere else.
Okay.
She's still employed with the district, and that's for now.
So that being said,
what we demand?
Are you seeking right now?
Mm-hmm.
What do you plan?
We're seeking first of all immediate termination. We're seeking charges to be filed, and Mom have already got with Sealy ISD Police Department, and so she's going to be doing the last procedure of it in order to file those charges for a child endangerment.
And an apology from the district.
Yeah, and I want the superintendent job too.
So her policy is to keep the windows up at all times?
Her policy.
Yeah, her
she said that on the
policy.
video.
A single
it's her
person.
policy.
It's on the video.
Yes.
And I spoke to
Egregious.
the
Her
police
policy,
department.
not the district policy.
Correct.
That's correct.
Well,
And
I'm sorry, the buck stops with the superintendent. So unless he wants to or she wants to come out and validate that that's not their policy, and if that's not their policy, then that's
They
more
allow it to
justified for her termination for violating said policy.
And then they're allowed it to happen on their watch, because let's be clear, because when you turn around and you sent this statement out worrying about us doing a press conference and giving exposure, you didn't do anything to state what procedures or what measures, or even letting the parents know that this is not our policy, this is not our procedure, this is not what we do. We do not uphold this. The superintendent do none of it. So at the end of the day, how can you be the educational leader of this district with these type of ideologies? This is unacceptable. And he need to be fired too.
Yeah. And then to watch kids gasping for air, saying that they're hot, asking for the windows to be rolled down, and you just clearly ignore
And
that.
then they begging to go home.
And you don't even know what medical conditions some of these kids have on the bus, because I know that she's not aware of every child that's riding that bus. Could have led into organ failure for any child.
Absolutely.
An asthma attack, seizures, anything could have happened that could have landed these kids in an emergency room.
Absolutely.
Again, so when you're talking to your son and your daughter, we hear, again on video, these kids asking for, changes to be made. What did they share? What the bus driver said to them in return? Just besides that, what did she say?
The only thing that she said was roll the windows up. After they rolled it down to try to get some air, that's my policy. Roll the windows up.
And then for context, it takes about 6 to 10 minutes to get home from school.
It takes
right?
6 minutes.
It takes 6 minutes for the kids to get home from school. They were on that bus for about 30 minutes.
31 minutes.
With the windows rolled up.
31.
So it could have got, and it was a heat
3 miles an
advisory that day, so it could have got up to 123, 130 degrees on that bus. That's very dangerous conditions.
So this is
Irresponsible.
One more time, this is a 6-minute drive.
6-minute drive. They
That's
took
correct.
31 minutes on purpose as a form of punishment to these children. She don't need to drive no damn bus ever again.
Yeah.
She need to be in jail. And that superintendent, he need to lose his job. Because if I was a superintendent and this is happening on my watch, I'm going to make sure whoever that's doing something they're supposed to do, I'm going to hold them accountable. And I'm going to make sure that I hold myself accountable to my constituents and also to the families, because you have been put in place as the educational leader for this district. That is what the Board of Regents, that's what they did. They voted you in for this. So do your job. You don't want to do your job, then we just going to move you out here and get somebody else to do it. Because at the end of the day, we care about our kids in Texas. We don't got time for this. But you'll do something about a dog real quick and then want to just downplay our kids. Absolutely
if you
not.
don't have any patience for children, you
This
should
ain't your
not
job.
work with kids at all. You should not be around kids. Kids can be annoying. Kids can get on your nerves. They can. I have children. But you have to be an adult in that situation and know how to settle situations down. Even if she didn't want the child to come and sit next to his sister, there's a way to handle that without endangering the lives of other people on the bus or even those kids. It's very irresponsible.
So any other questions?
So real quick, can I just get your name? Can you just spell it for me, if you don't mind, real quick, so we have it correct?
Sure, it's COSHENNA.
Then Smith. Any other questions with the media? All right, this press conference has been concluded. Now the action starts. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, Hood News peeps, it's your girl Grizzy, Miss Desmond. I'm gonna be here for a little while if you want to pull up and say whatever you got to say, woman to woman, because that's how I rock. I don't want to do all that keyboard shit, and I don't want to be calling people out their name. I'll make moves though, so let me know what's up. We're right here, Sealy Independent School District, folks. Reporting live, it's your girl Grizzy. Back to you. I'm gonna be here for a little bit, so pull up. Pull up. Put that energy off that, take that energy off that keyboard and come pull up. It's real easy. Come see me. All right, friends. Prayers going up for the kids. That's why we're out here. This lady just made some threats earlier. The Desmond lady, she said something about we're harming the kids. Man, we're trying to help them. What are you talking about? Are you really like secretly trying to throw some weird shade towards the kids? Is this some sort of a passive aggressive comment you made? I want to know. So come talk to me. Are you threatening the kids? Do you work for the school? We need to know. I need to know, because now I want to know who you are. I want that smoke. Come smoke.